The discovery. Dr. Maya Reeves hunched over her workstation in the basement laboratory of Princeton's Advanced Physics Department, her eyes burning from hours of staring at data streams. The experiment had been running for 36 hours straight, and she hadn't left the lab for the last 20. Her quantum field detector, dubbed Prometheus by her team, represented 5 years of theoretical work and 2 years of engineering. Tonight was its first full power test. "Anything yet?" asked Dr. Kai Nakamura, her research partner, sliding a fresh cup of coffee beside her keyboard. Maya shook her head, pushing a strand of curly black hair behind her ear. "Nothing beyond expected background noise. The sensor array is functioning perfectly, but..." She trailed off as the monitors suddenly flickered. Data streams spiked across multiple displays, and warning alerts flashed red. "What the hell?" Kai leaned forward, coffee forgotten. "That's not background radiation." Maya's fingers flew across the keyboard. "The signal pattern is too regular. Too perfect." Her voice dropped to a whisper. "Kai, this has a non-random symmetry coefficient of 99.8%. That's impossible. Nothing in nature produces patterns that perfect." "Exactly." Maya pulled up a 3D rendering of the signal source. "It's in geosynchronous orbit, approximately 35,800 kilometers up." She swallowed hard. "And it's not on any registry of satellites or space debris." Kai stared at the screen, the implications slowly dawning. "Maya, if this is real..." "I know." She reached for her secure phone. "We need to call the director. Now." 48 hours later, Maya found herself in a windowless conference room at the Pentagon, surrounded by military brass, intelligence officials, and scientific advisors. Director of National Intelligence Elena Cortez paced at the front of the room, her normally composed demeanor visibly strained. "To summarize what we know," Cortez said, gesturing to the projection screen, "Dr. Reeves' quantum detector has identified what appears to be a cloaked object in Earth orbit. Subsequent targeted scans from 3 different facilities have confirmed the finding. The object maintains perfect geosynchronous position over the Pacific Ocean and exhibits energy signatures unlike anything in our technological repertoire." Admiral Lewis Harrison, chairman of the Joint Chiefs, leaned forward. "And we're certain this isn't Chinese. Russian, some classified project from one of our allies." "Positive, sir," replied a stern-faced NSA analyst. "We've discreetly reached out through secure channels. Everyone's as confused as we are. Furthermore, the material science required to create this kind of quantum displacement field is beyond our current technological capabilities by at least 50 years. Maya cleared her throat. "Based on the readings, whatever this is has been there for a long time. The quantum displacement field shows signs of periodic recalibration. Hundreds of them. I'd estimate the object has been in position for at least 2 centuries." The room fell silent as the implications settled over everyone present. President Eliza Chambers, who had been quietly observing from the head of the table, finally spoke. "So we're talking about an extraterrestrial observation post. One that's been watching us, potentially for generations." "That's our assessment, Madam President," Maya confirmed. "And they don't know we've spotted them. We can't be certain, but the quantum field hasn't changed its signature since detection. I believe they're still operating under the assumption that their technology renders them invisible to us." The president nodded slowly. "What are our options?" Admiral Harrison began outlining military contingencies, but Maya found herself interrupting. "Madam President, if I may." She waited for the nod to continue. "Any civilization capable of maintaining undetected observation for centuries is technologically far beyond us. A military response would be inadvisable." "What do you suggest instead, Doctor?" the president asked, eyebrows raised. "We talk to them. Let them know we see them. Open diplomatic channels. And if they're hostile..." Maya met her gaze steadily. "Then we'd be in trouble either way. But a species that's observed us for centuries without interference likely isn't bent on conquest." 3 days later, Operation First Light commenced. Using Maya's quantum detector reconfigured as a transmitter, they sent a simple mathematical sequence. Prime numbers, the value of pi, basic geometry, followed by a greeting in multiple languages directly at the cloaked object. The response came 18 hours later. Maya stood transfixed in the command center as the alien message appeared on screen, translated by the most advanced AI systems available. Greetings, humans of Earth. We are representatives of the Nullvery Collective. Our observation mission has monitored your species for 237 of your years without interference, following established protocols for pre-contact civilizations. Your detection of our presence is unexpected and premature. We request dialogue with your designated representatives to address this development. The news of first contact spread worldwide within hours despite government attempts to control the information. Financial markets plummeted, then stabilized. Religious leaders called for calm while privately meeting to reconcile alien existence with their doctrines. Social media exploded with theories ranging from imminent invasion to benevolent salvation. 7 days after first contact, Maya found herself aboard a military transport aircraft headed to a hastily arranged meeting at a neutral location, an isolated research station in Antarctica. The delegation included representatives from major world powers, scientific institutions, and diplomatic corps. Maya studied the briefing materials during the flight. The Nullvery had provided basic information. They were part of a galactic cooperative of advanced species who monitored developing civilizations. Earth had been categorized as a pre-integration world, not scheduled for official contact for another 50 Earth years. Nervous? Asked General Hernandez, the military liaison seated beside her. Maya smiled tightly. Wouldn't you be? Humanity's future might depend on this meeting. That's why you're here, Doctor. You found them. You understand their technology better than anyone. The Antarctic Research Station had been expanded with a newly constructed meeting chamber. As Maya entered alongside the delegation, she got her first glimpse of the aliens they'd been communicating with. The Nullvery stood nearly 7 feet tall, with slender bodies covered in faintly luminescent scales in shades of deep blue and purple. Their faces featured 4 eyes, 2 large primary ones and 2 smaller secondary ones positioned at the temples. Most striking were their hands, 6-fingered appendages that moved with incredible precision. The lead alien stepped forward. I am Observer Commander Zalex. I speak for the Nullvery Collective regarding the Earth observation mission. Its voice came through translation devices as slightly metallic, but clearly understandable. UN Secretary General Okafor responded with practiced diplomatic greetings, but Maya barely heard the words. Her attention was fixed on the aliens' technology, subtle devices integrated into their clothing, displaying energy signatures similar to what she detected in orbit. When introductions concluded, Commander Zalex addressed the human delegation directly. Your premature detection of our observation post presents an unprecedented situation. In 3 millennia of collective history, no pre-integration species has discovered monitoring operations before scheduled contact. Perhaps you underestimated human ingenuity, Maya found herself saying, drawing sharp glances from the diplomatic team. Zalex's 4 eyes blinked in an asynchronous pattern. Perhaps. Dr. Reeves, your quantum detector represents a technological leap that our models did not predict for your species for at least another 5 decades. Why were you watching us at all? Demanded the Russian representative. The collective monitors all potentially spacefaring species, Zalex explained. When civilizations reach certain technological thresholds, they are evaluated for possible integration into the galactic community. Those deemed ready are welcomed. Those deemed unstable or dangerous face restrictions. And how are we being evaluated now? President Chambers asked directly. Zalex's secondary eyes narrowed slightly. Your premature discovery has accelerated the timeline. The Collective Council has convened an emergency session to determine humanity's status. An assessment team will arrive within 30 of your days to conduct a formal evaluation. The Chinese representative leaned forward. And if we refuse this evaluation? The temperature in the room seemed to drop several degrees as Delix responded. That would be unwise. Species deemed destabilizing to galactic harmony face containment protocols. You mean isolation, Maya interpreted. Or worse. We prefer peaceful integration, Zalix replied, neither confirming nor denying. But the collective has maintained galactic stability for 12,000 years through various means. As the official diplomatic exchange continued, Maya studied the aliens and their technology. When there was a brief pause, she addressed Zalix directly. Commander, you've studied us for centuries. What's your assessment of humanity's readiness? The alien was silent for a moment, its 4 eyes focusing on her with uncomfortable intensity. Humans possess extraordinary adaptability and creative problem-solving, traits uncommon among established collective species. Your technological development rate exceeds all but 2 known civilizations in our records. However, your social cohesion, resource management, and conflict resolution metrics fall below acceptable parameters for full integration. So we're too violent and divided, Secretary General Okafor summarized. You are young, Zelix replied diplomatically, but your premature discovery of our presence suggests potential beyond our models. The assessment team will evaluate whether that potential represents an opportunity or a threat. As the meeting concluded, Maya couldn't shake the feeling that there was something the aliens weren't telling them, something beyond routine observation protocols and integration assessments. The way Zalix's secondary eyes constantly scanned the room, the subtle tension in its movements when discussing the collective council. These weren't the behaviors of calm, superior beings following standard procedures. These were the behaviors of someone afraid. The question was, afraid of what? Humanity, or something else entirely? The revelation. The Nelveri assessment vessel arrived in Earth orbit 28 days after the initial contact. Unlike the observation post, this ship made no attempt to hide. Nearly a kilometer long, its sleek obsidian hull reflected sunlight in hypnotic patterns as it maintained position above the International Space Station. Dr. Maya Reeves watched the vessel through the reinforced viewport of the hastily constructed Exo-Diplomatic Center in low Earth orbit. Built by repurposing components from various space agencies, the station would serve as humanity's formal meeting place with the alien assessment team. Impressive, isn't it? Said General Hernandez, floating up beside her. Our biggest aircraft carrier would look like a bathtub toy next to that thing. Maya nodded absently, her attention focused on the energy readings from her modified sensors. Their propulsion system operates on principles we've barely theorized about. Zero radiation signature, no visible exhaust ports, and yet it's maintaining perfect orbital position without apparent effort. Is that admiration I hear, Doctor? Professional curiosity. She turned from the viewport. Have they sent word about the assessment protocols? That's why I came to find you. They're sending a shuttle over in 2 hours. You've been requested specifically to join the reception team. Maya raised an eyebrow. Me? Why? Apparently, Commander Zalix informed them you were the one who detected their observation post. They seem interested in you. 2 hours later, Maya stood in the station's docking bay alongside representatives from the UN, major world powers, and scientific institutions. A subtle vibration through the deck plates announced the arrival of the Nelveri shuttle before the external cameras showed it approaching, a teardrop-shaped craft that moved with unnatural smoothness. The docking process completed with precision, and the airlock cycled open to reveal 5 Nelveri. 4 resembled Commander Zalix, but the 5th was different. Taller, with scales in shades of copper and gold rather than blue, and 6 eyes instead of 4. I am High Assessor Thelox, the Golden Nelveri announced through a translation device. I lead the evaluation of humanity for potential integration into the collective. After formal introductions, High Assessor Thelox requested private discussions with various human representatives. To Maya's surprise, she was first on the list. She followed the alien to a conference room, trying to maintain her scientific composure despite the surreal situation. Dr. Maya Reeves. Thelox began once they were seated. Your quantum detection technology has created quite a disturbance within the collective council. Maya straightened in her chair. I wasn't trying to cause interstellar incidents. I was researching quantum field dynamics. And yet you created a sensor capable of detecting technology that should have remained invisible for decades. All 6 of Thelox's eyes focused on her with unsettling intensity. The primary question before the assessment team is not whether humans have achieved the necessary technological threshold for contact. You clearly have, but whether you possess the wisdom to use that technology responsibly. And how do you judge wisdom? Maya asked. We observe, we evaluate, we analyze patterns. Thelox's head tilted slightly. But I have a proposal that might expedite the process. Would you be willing to participate in a technological exchange? Share your quantum detection principles with me, and I will share information about our quantum displacement technology with you. Maya hesitated. I'm not authorized to share technological information without governmental approval. Of course, but as the inventor, your insights would be invaluable. Thelox paused. And such cooperation would reflect positively in my assessment. Something in the alien's tone caught Maya's attention. A subtle urgency that didn't align with the confident superiority the Nelvari had previously projected. High Assessor, she said carefully, I get the impression there's more at stake here than standard assessment protocols. The alien's secondary eyes blinked rapidly. A tell Maya had begun to recognize as surprise or concern. You are perceptive, Dr. Reeves. Thelox lowered its voice. The collective council is divided regarding Earth. Some advocate for immediate integration due to your demonstrated technological capabilities. Others propose containment protocols due to your species' history of conflict. And where do you stand? I stand for survival, Thelox said cryptically, which is why your quantum detection technology is of particular interest. Over the next 2 weeks, Maya worked closely with Thelox and the assessment team, sharing carefully approved information about her research while learning about Nelvari science. The exchange was revelatory, confirming some of her theories while completely upending others. But something nagged at her. Subtle inconsistencies in Thelox's explanations, references to technologies beyond what they were sharing, and most tellingly, the Nelvari's constant monitoring of deep space, with instruments far more powerful than needed for Earth observation. During their 4th joint research session, Maya decided to take a risk. You're hiding from something, she said abruptly, interrupting Thelox's explanation of quantum field harmonics. The Nelvari Collective, maybe the entire Galactic Collective, is in hiding. That's why the observation post was so heavily cloaked. That's why you're concerned about our detection capabilities. The laboratory fell silent. Thelox's copper-gold scales seemed to dim slightly as the alien regarded her with all 6 eyes. What makes you believe this? Thelox finally asked. Your technological focus. Everything you've shared involves concealment, detection, or efficiency without energy signatures. Your ships, your communications, your very presence is designed to remain undetectable. That's not the behavior of a dominant galactic power. That's the behavior of prey. Thelox was silent for a long moment before responding. The collective has existed for 12,000 years, maintaining peace across 27,000 star systems. For most of that time, we believed ourselves alone in the galaxy, apart from developing species like yours. The alien activated a holographic display showing a spiral galaxy, the Milky Way. A blue region highlighted a section of one spiral arm. 10 centuries ago, we detected signals from the galactic core, artificial signals from an ancient civilization far more advanced than our own. We called them the precursors and attempted communication. A red glow spread from the center of the galaxy outward. The response was not what we expected. The precursors view younger civilizations as resources to be harvested or threats to be eliminated. They launched autonomous harvester fleets towards several collective worlds. Maya watched as red tendrils crept across the galaxy map. What happened? We fought. We lost. Then we changed our strategy. Instead of fighting, we hid. The entire collective implemented quantum displacement technology to conceal our worlds, our ships, our very presence from precursor detection systems. For how long? 800 years. We monitor their expansion while remaining invisible. We observe developing worlds like Earth to assess whether they should be warned or allowed to develop in ignorance, possibly to be harvested when eventually detected. Maya felt cold realization washing over her. So your assessment isn't just about whether humans are ready to join your collective. It's about whether we should be told about the precursors at all. Precisely. Some on the Council believe warning pre-integration species only hastens their detection and destruction. Others believe all sentient life deserves the chance to hide or fight. And which side are you on? Philox's primary eyes fixed on hers. I believe hiding cannot be a permanent solution. Eventually, the precursors will find us all, which is why your quantum detection technology is so significant. It detected what should have been undetectable. Understanding dawned on Maya. You think it might be able to detect the precursors before they detect you, or help develop countermeasures against their harvesters. But first, we needed to assess whether humans would be allies or liabilities in such an endeavor. The implications were staggering. Humanity had stumbled onto the galactic stage in the middle of a cosmic hide-and-seek game with existential stakes. We need to tell Earth's leaders, Maya said firmly. That is why I have shared this with you, Philox agreed. The assessment team has reached consensus. Humanity will be offered conditional integration into the collective, with full disclosure about the precursor threat. The information about the precursors sent shockwaves through Earth's governments. Emergency sessions convened worldwide as leaders grappled with the revelation that humanity faced a threat far beyond anything previously imagined. Yet the response wasn't what the Nelvari expected. Instead of fear and despair, human scientists, engineers, and military strategists approached the problem with determined innovation. Within weeks, international cooperation reached unprecedented levels. Defense budgets were redirected toward space technology and quantum research. Maya's laboratory expanded into a global research network, with scientists from dozens of countries collaborating on detection and concealment technologies. 6 months after the revelation, Maya presented the preliminary findings to a joint human Nelvari Research Council aboard the assessment vessel. We've approached the problem from a different angle, she explained, displaying complex quantum equations. Instead of trying to improve concealment technology, we've developed a method to selectively disrupt the precursor's detection systems. Essentially, we create a blind spot in their scanning range without revealing our presence. Philox studied the equations with all 6 eyes widened. This approach never occurred to our scientists. We've been focused on hiding for so long. The concept of selective interference is innovative. Sometimes fresh eyes see new solutions, Maya replied. And humans have a long history of asymmetric warfare. When you can't match your opponent's strength, you find their weaknesses instead. The Nelvari Council member present, a blue-scaled elder named Zirith, leaned forward. This technology could change the balance of the entire conflict. If successfully deployed, it could allow collective worlds to operate more freely without fear of detection. It's just the beginning, Maya assured them. With our species working together, combining your experience with our different perspective, I believe we can do more than hide from the precursors. Eventually, we might be able to actively defend against them. As the meeting concluded, Philox approached Maya privately. The Council has completed its assessment. Humanity will be formally invited to join the collective as a provisional member, with expedited technology sharing in areas relevant to the precursor threat. Maya smiled. So we passed your test. More than passed, Philox admitted. Your species' response has been illuminating. Where we saw only survival through concealment, you immediately sought ways to counter the threat. It is a perspective the collective has lacked. That's the thing about humanity, Maya replied, looking out the viewport at Earth shining blue and green below them. We don't accept impossible situations. We change the rules instead. 1 year after the initial detection of the Nelvary observation post, Maya stood on the observation deck of the first human-Nelvary joint research vessel as it prepared to depart for the collective's central worlds. Earth had changed dramatically, united by common purpose, accelerated by shared alien technology, and sobered by the knowledge of the threat lurking in the galaxy. General Hernandez, now Earth's military liaison to the collective, joined her at the viewport. Ready to make history, Doctor. Maya watched as the blue curve of Earth receded below them. I was just thinking about how this all started. They thought they were safe until humanity found them. Now we're helping them fight back instead of just hiding. That's what humans do, Hernandez said with a smile. We don't like being told something's impossible. As the ship activated its quantum drive and the stars blurred around them, Maya couldn't help but think that perhaps this was humanity's greatest contribution to the galaxy, not our technology or resources, but our refusal to accept defeat. The Nelvary had hidden for centuries, believing survival was the best they could hope for. Humanity had other ideas.